Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, be sure and tap on the little notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. In our last video, we worked on that Sportster and got it all done. It has gone to its home and its mommy is real happy with it. They're just having a good time. So everything's very good there. But as I had said, I would start it up. As soon as I got it running, I would start it up and play it on the video channel. Well, in our act of doing that thing, there was a bunch of other things that didn't get done. And one of the things I noticed on my Shovelhead last time I rode it, and that's before all the storms hit us, was that my clutch was a little stiff. And for somebody who teaches how to adjust clutches, I didn't think that was a very nice thing to happen. So I decided I would get out all my stuff that I have and see what I can do for this clutch. Now this is a Rivera Pro clutch in my Shovelhead attached to a 6-speed transmission. Well, working with that Rivera Pro clutch, it's a really nice unit. It's a diaphragm clutch, and it's the first diaphragm clutch that I ever remember being made to put on the older Shovelheads. And I really enjoy it, and I'll show you how to adjust it, and we'll just see how we can do with this little project here. So what I want to do is when I take this primary cover off, what's going to happen is, there we go. When I open the primary cover up, and take it off, take the outer cover off, what's going to happen is we're going to lose oil out of that thing. Not much. This is the old recirculating type system. There we go. I want to lift that a little bit so I can get this pan under it and catch any oil that comes out of it when I open it. It shouldn't take too long to get that open. And then we'll get down to what's going on. Oh, you know, I was going to remember. Busted. One of the things when adjusting a clutch on one of these is you're getting tools in there very close to some electrical fittings. So what happens is you're liable to start sparking and making a mess. So I want to disconnect the battery before going any further. I might also add that I got a couple of complaints in my videos that I talk about things that I don't always show. So I'm trying to show more of it. Instead of saying, disconnect the battery, we're going to disconnect the battery.
Well, you're in my defense.
Yeah.
This is not a perfect world.
Sure it is.
And some things just fight too long to make a video of.
Well, I think if we show a lot of those simple little things, it does burn up time that we don't have. And But you can't make everybody happy. We try to make everybody happy. Let's make everybody happy.
Well, I look at the computer and I see some of you guys are not watching the video all the way through.
Oh, please.
Okay.
I have now removed the seat, disconnected the battery, put a pan under the primary, and away we go. Hey. Let's see now. I'm putting these bolts out in order because that way they all fit. Now, in theory, they should all be the same length. But truth of the matter is, what happens is this hole gets pretty much used up and that hole gets pretty much used up. and you repair things, and these are the bolts that work in each one of them the way they're supposed to. I might also mention that a lot of people eliminate these washers that are on these bolts, and those are really important. I wouldn't remove let's see here. There it is. But these little AN washers are just the greatest. And that too. Good heavens. That quick. We got them out. Okay, now I'm going to hold this here momentarily. You know, somebody's guilty of not good housekeeping. There we go.
It wouldn't be right if it didn't have Sonia hair.
There we go. Okay, yeah, everything's got Sonia's hair on it. Okay, let me set this down over here, out of the way. And here, let me mop some of it here real quick. And that's it. Okay. Well, that cover sure came off in a hurry. The battery is disconnected. Now, the reason for disconnecting the battery is you got all these connections in here with the starter, and especially on mine because I've got a 6-speed crammed in there. There's just all kinds of stuff. And if for any reason, you have to remember the solenoid is always hot, always has juice to it. So if for any reason you activate that thing, these parts in here are more than happy to eat fingers or entire hands or neighbors or whatever's handy. Anyway, well, there it is. And what I wanted to do, first watching it operate, this is the diaphragm spring, and I'm hoping I can make an improvement on it. Let's get a straight edge here. And the straight edge goes across here. Okay? Now, in reality, about 10 thousandths there would make the whole, no, I don't, would make the whole thing pretty happy. Like I said, my hands are beginning to give me trouble, so I'm trying to make everything work well anyway. But here's a 10 thousandth feeler gauge, and I'm going to put this right here on it, and we're way more than 10 thousandths on there. Now, we're going to adjust it, or we're going to try to adjust it. And the closer to flat this thing gets, the easier it gets to pull, because when it's not flat, you're pulling it over center like we're doing right now. See, now, if it was right about there and we pulled it over center, oh, it wouldn't take much at all. We're going to try to make it just a little bit easier. So, maybe I'll start by backing off the adjuster to the cable. And that adjuster is right in here. That's a nice little crow's foot wrench on there. 9/16, and we'll get in there. Maybe. is. There it is. Just have to take the lock nut loose. Okay. Once that lock nut is loose, and it should be, according to my calculations here, okay, then we can screw the adjusting sleeve in a little bit. Okay, so that lock nut is backed off. I just want to take off all tension on this cable. Okay, now I think it's a 1/2 inch to that adjusting sleeve. And there it is. Okay, we want to tighten it in, which will be taking the tension off of it. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of a pain really to get in and do some of this stuff like this. There we go.
You should try to film it.
Yeah, I don't think you're having a real easy time of that, are you? Let's see, let's get this on here.
Oh, that's better.
Well, you have to move it around about 14 ways to get the clearance to do it. See, now we can come up to the top. Now, it didn't used to be as hard because I didn't used to have this here. But I just keep adding things to this poor bike. That's a real good case for choppers. Because choppers, you just throw all that stuff away. And you don't have to get it out of your way anymore. I don't know why I can't seem to reach that. Let me get a 1/2 inch wrench here. Give it a try. That seat is going to go. Would you put your hand on it, please? Thank you. All right. There we go. All right. Let's see if that'll get on there. Yep. Little bit at a time in each direction, and you'll get it. Like I said, I've got a lot of stuff here. Shift linkage that did not originally belong there. Just stuff. Now, I think that's enough to say it's loose. That's good enough for me. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these loose. Take the lock tabs loose. And there's that one. And let's see here. Okay, and there's one left. Alrighty, and it looks like these are 5/8, I think. Yes, they are. Okay, when we get these backed off, let's see, let's back the adjuster off on this one here too. There's a 9/16, and I think it'll get right in there. Yep. There it is. Okay. That being said, now we can get on to these. And you want to loosen them a little at a time. And the reason you want to do that is so you don't put all the stress on one or two bolts. It's spread equally. I've had this a lot of years. I've adjusted it a lot of times, a lot of miles, and I love it. There we go. I need to put that hammer down there. Okay. Now we'll want to get these all the way off. I'm sure everybody was enjoying watching me run into that adjuster screw every time. Yeah, I can feel that one still tight. There we go. Now you can feel that spring, and see, these two here are loose, and these two here, any second, make it even again. Okay, now if I could take that up, about 7 or 8 thousandths, I'd really like it. And we'll see what we can do here. But you can see how this all works. This is the diaphragm spring. I forgot what we call this piece. Should have gotten my instructions out from the clutch. Let's see. There we go. Here, I got it. I got it. There we go, thank you. We'll put that back in there. But you can see all the plates are here, all dry, everything's cool. And what we'll do is see about putting some new ones of these in there. These are spacers. Let me show how they go on there. They go on here, okay? And what that does is when these bolts are tightened, because they tighten all the way down to bottoming, what it does is it changes this spring. It adjusts it. So the flatter we make that spring, the easier we're going to make it pull. Now, a lot of people would be afraid, well, gee, if I get that thing flat, is there going to be any tension on it to keep the clutch locked up? Yeah, there is, because there's 2 or 3 times, I believe 3.5 times I'll stand corrected if somebody does it, but I believe there's 3.5 times as much clutch lining, surface, in this clutch as there is in the stock Harley clutch it replaces. So with that much friction surface to grab onto, doesn't need as much spring. It isn't dependent on just a spring to hold it in. Harley using originally 10 old coil springs in here. We're using this diaphragm spring, and believe me, this diaphragm spring, this is one serious little spring here.
So is that one of the selling points? It's easier to squeeze besides...
Well, no, the big deal is that it's enough clutch to hold the big motors we're building. I mean, when I had, before these clutches were made, I was trying every trick I knew of. I was using the best plates I could find. I was using heavier and heavier springs. It was taking, of course, I was a lot younger then, but every time I built my motor up bigger, I had to build my clutch up stronger. It wouldn't hold.
Yeah.
I kept building a nastier and nastier motor, more and more clutch. So what happened is it got to where it was taking, I only have 2 hands, and it was taking more than 2 hands to hold it. So that was getting to be an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to put, I just happen to have these washers in stock. I just happen to have these washers in stock, so we're going to put new ones in. I think that's going to make quite a difference. Now, if we had enough room, I'd even stack 2 in there, but we don't have enough room for 2 of these. But these are real thin washers, and they're made for just what we're doing with them. And for anybody out there who has one of these clutches, which I am certainly in love with mine, you can buy all the parts for it, and probably a new clutch too, from American Prime Manufacturing. My old buddy Ben Cudon over there is selling all that good stuff. This is stuff that was brought out years ago by Rivera Engineering, which is no more. Okay, so now I've got all 4 of them there. Now it's really important to always remember with these clutches, you've got to use anti-seize on these studs. I mean, this is really, really important. So I'm going to put some on there real quick. You can see I put some on there last time I was there. Well, I'm doing it again. Can I have a Q-tip out of that box right there, Mike? Thank you. Ugh. Okay. Oh, they really are gooped up pretty good already. But you got to make sure you've got them really adequately gooped up, or what will happen is these studs will turn. And once you've turned them, instead of breaking loose just the nuts, you will find yourself with a big mess to disassemble and reassemble. So we're doing this. Okay, so back on with this plate. And all 4 of these will go back on. With the new washers on them.
Now, are those thinner or thicker?
Thicker. And that will crush the spring, the diaphragm spring, a little flatter, which will make it easier to pull, because the hard pull is getting it to go over center. Once you've done that, there's no more hard pull. Okay, so we're going to do these, all 4 of them. Then I'm going to realize that I forgot to get my channel locks out. And we'll have to get them real quick. Okay. So here we go with a 5 ace again. What did I do? I forgot the spring. That's hysterical.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, we're busy just, how are we going to get this done before we run out of time? Yeah.
Sorry.
Not your fault. Boy, I just ran out of thread real quick there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, what the heck was that? Yeah, well. They didn't give me an IQ test before I started the YouTube channel. You know?
oh.
If they had, they probably would not have allowed me to do it. There we go. Boy, that's a lot better, you know? That's just perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Now, this is not going to move it in a bunch. Probably the amount I wanted, which is about 6 or 7 thousandths.
Ah, okay.
Okay? Because as you saw, I showed how much gap there was when I held the straight edge up there. You could see how much.
Yeah.
That's why I actually pulled a feeler gauge out, was to demonstrate what we were going for. And like I said, it really amounts to the spring, the diaphragm spring, going over center. Okay. That's where the effort comes in. The effort that this thing is running out of. Something about this hand being used by some old mechanic for a long time. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it set down, and all that will be left will be to adjust the cable, which I kind of was going to want to run some oil in overnight. So what I think I'll do is finish this up real quick, which we're almost done with. And I'm still doing this by feel, trying to not have too much tension on any of these bolts. There we go. Oh, it's doing it great. Oh, I can see it. Ha ha, this is going to be wonderful. Okay, now when you get these bottomed, that's as tight as you want them. And then all you have to do then is just flatten the lock tabs down, and you're there. Then all you have left is to adjust the cable. Oh, that looks wonderful. I'm not giving myself a pat on the back. I'm just pleased. Look how flat that is.
Yeah.
See? That's about 5 thousandths there. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we accomplished the operation. We did what we needed to do. Now all we need to do is bend these lock tabs, adjust the cable, which we know how to do. We've shown this enough times. And it's done. I can put the cover back on it. I assume there's going to be a lot of questions, even though I've answered them in past videos. Yes, this is an M6 tensioner. Yes, I like it. It's a nice piece of equipment. This is a genuine Fisher harmonic vibration dampener. No, they're not available anymore. I don't know if the company is out of business or what. I've never been able to find them again. But it's many years old, and I really do like it, but they are not readily available. Other than that, that's about all I have to say, except for if you'd like a t-shirt, we have our t-shirts. Go to pacificmike.com. T-shirt store is in the upper right-hand corner. That's just a regular website. That's not a YouTube channel. It's just pacificmike.com. Other than that, by all means, do not forget the Hippie Killer Hoedown in Temecula, California on the 22nd of April. That's coming up pretty soon here in like about 3 weeks. So that's what's happening there, and you can find that on the internet. Just type in Hippie Killer Hoedown 2023. We'll certainly be at that. In our next video, I will show how nice this works, because we're not all hooked up to do it now. But I can see, even with it not adjusted, it's not taking much. There's one finger holding it in. Not bad at all. So there you have it. Until next time, I'll see you out on the road.